Hello, everyone. I gather that the format of this meeting is really to a kind of interview with Victor, but I'd like to put forward a couple of a couple of observations or thoughts of my own, and perhaps Victor might be kind enough to give his views or impressions of or further comment on what I have to say. I'd like to begin by saying that I completely agree with Victor when he says that everything is connected to everything else, rather than there being no connection at all. Everything is connected to everything else is a kind of very basic and simple principle of dialectics, as I understand it. What I would next say is that when the recent controversy and talk of accusations being made by one of the Michaels about the other of the Michaels, and talk of compensation being demanded or negotiated with the Canadian state, and the things that then the allegations made that that connected it to seeking information about the DPRK and sharing this with the Canadian government and the Five Eyes. The only thing that really surprised me in any way about this was that it came out into the public domain in this way, and that it came out so quickly, relatively quickly, just a couple of years afterwards. As you know, as you pointed out when you introduced me at the start of this panel, I've also followed DPRK affairs over the years in some considerable detail, and so Michael Spavor's name was familiar to me before before the arrests in China, and the reason is, of course, that by through the connection with the basketball player Dennis Rodman, who visited the DPRK I think 3 times, and 2 of those trips Michael Spavor was instrumental in. Michael became one of the very, very few Westerners to not only have met Kim Jong-un, but actually to have hung out with him, for want of a better term, to have spent time socializing. People talk about drinking cocktails on yachts and so on. And I think that first of all, considering the political and security situation around the Korean Peninsula, any information, any first-hand information about Kim Jong-un of any type would be considered as like gold dust by people in the Five Eyes countries whose business it is to try and gather that sort of information. So that begs the question of why would the Chinese authorities choose to arrest those particular people? As I understand it, there were at that time around 200 Canadians in custody for one reason or another. Anyway, there is said to be 300,000 Canadians living in China. Although the overwhelming majority of them are in Hong Kong, still that's obviously a substantial number living on the mainland. So the question is, if the Chinese were just going to pick 2 people at random, as like their names have been pulled out of the hat in a raffle or something, which is how it was presented to some extent in the Western media, why would it be those particular people? China DPRK relations are very complicated, and they've had their ups and downs over the years. But at the time they were of the 2 Michaels arrests, China DPRK relations were good. They weren't strained. They'd actually come through a period of stress and strain, and but those relationships were good. We're talking around the time that Kim Jong-un was coming to China fairly frequently. Xi Jinping was visiting Pyongyang. Xi Jinping's plane was being used to fly Kim Jong-un to Singapore, and so on. So to actually arrest somebody who was on friendly terms with Kim Jong-un is not something I think that the DPR, that the Chinese authorities would have done lightly at that stage. I know that Michael Kovrig has joined the meeting, and he said in the chat that several statements are false, but the one statement of his that I came across in preparing for this meeting, and he can say whether it's a correct statement or not, is he wrote, "In both of my roles, one area I worked on was trying to engage China in an effort to get the North Koreans to stop, what did you try to get them to stop doing? Developing and proliferating nuclear weapons and missile technology." There isn't any evidence that North Korea is proliferating its nuclear weapons, as far as I know. But anyway, and he goes on, "So, of course, we were interested in better understanding the DPRK. That involved talking with people who were knowledgeable about the country, doing analysis and making recommendations." Is it not possible, that's perhaps a thought I'd like to leave with Victor, is it not possible that this might at least have been interpreted by the Chinese government in certain ways, given the overall sensitivity of these issues to all the parties concerned?
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.